Hello, this is a preliminary view of MediSheet. Uh, what you are about to see is that when someone buys the MediSheet, the sheet is already delivered to them, and then it is on a bed and ready to go, connected to the Wi-Fi. Of course, you've seen the architecture by this point, so I'm not going to get into that. What we have here is the login screen, and on the login screen, we're going to go in, and I already have admin credentials and so on, the credentials to log in, which you will get. Once a facility buys this, a organization buys this, there's going to be one person that's identified as your main administrator. That administrator will get these user credentials, and it's over here where you can see who's logged in, admin@nthgen.com. And at the same time, you'll see the facility towards the right, up at the top in the top right-hand corner. What you're seeing here is the user screen, and of course, we've created a second administrator for this facility, along with a nurse's login. These can be created, and however they're looking to go set it up, we can help them design, or you can design that yourself. Second thing here is what the administrator would do. First thing they would do is understand how the buildings are set up in the facilities and split them up that way. Over here, we've got the VV building, the Overland Park building, and the Test Living Center. Next is once they go in, they'll be able, when they add, they'll be able to identify how many floors there are, how many rooms are in those floors, and then eventually build the devices. Next setting that they go to is the room. It's one of the important pieces. And here we're using the general, the address for the building, the floors, so on and so forth. I'm going to open this one up as that's the one that we have it in. And this is the room that has the device on it. So this is how it's understood, and the device number is placed into this field, and that's how it connects to the bed. Once that happens, you can go to the beds, and you're essentially seeing the bed, the room, the building, so on and so forth, and then you come in and look at the body map. The body map, it's 7:45 in the morning. You've got your pressure refreshed at and actually being calibrated and picked up. The care off you will see later, but now we're going to go activate the bed. At this point, what we want the nurse to do is to bring the new patient in, lay them flat in the bed, very similar to this, and just let them relax. At this point, we're going to go ahead, and I've got some numbers predefined for this. Let's just say 98765. And then this is where we can put in the family's email if the facility chooses to do so, which will give them the access. And yes, these are the heavy pressure points of that particular person in that bed. Right now, it's a 140-pound, maybe 130-pound male, 90 years old, and I'm about to hit calibrate. What this does, it gets the initial pressure, which is this 2179, and it gives us the ability to go look at this and say, okay, that's him on the bed. Now you'll see the initial pressure here and the current pressure here, along with the time at the last refresh. Once this is done, we can go over to settings, and I'm going to start with the ulcer settings. And I am, since the patients are in bed, I'm going to go ahead and set it for 1 minute. Even though this 1 minute and anything less than 30 minutes will not be available in the production-based system. And then I'm going to say high risk pressure. These are based off of the Braden scale, and it can be used that way. The second settings are the absence settings. Of course, we've given you 3 time ranges, 8 to 9, 10 p.m. to 8 a.m., so on and so forth. And then you would place the number of minutes you want that person to be away before you get before the alarm goes off. This is kind of important because most people think the second they leave the bed, the alarm goes off. That's not how this works. What we are saying is that if they leave the bed, go someplace, fall, or wander off into the hallways, then the alarm should go off, not when they leave the bed. But we can get into that more later. This is just for functionality. So what I am going to do is set the alarm for 1 minute, hit the save button, and what it will do is save the data. At this point, I'm going to go into the body map, and I'm going to show you that all these settings, everything is ready. You've seen the amount of pressure, so it knows that there's someone on the bed, and it right now is doing the countdown, right, if they don't move. Now, the way the ulcer works is, sorry, I'm back to it again, is that in that minute, just in that minute, if the numbers are changing, it won't set the alarm off. But if they stay steady, it will absolutely set the alarm off. And this is 75% of the sensors. Since this is the a high pressure level, what it will do is it will look for 45% of the sensors to change for it to actually reset the alarm. All right. So now that we're back in here, one of the things that we're going to go to is the alarm logs. I'm going to show you the alarm log, and hopefully our subject stays steady. Now, one of the things that you probably haven't seen, one thing that you did probably notice is the um, um, email address that we put in for the patient. What that is essentially if the facility allows it, it's going to let the family get a link to the bed, and they would be able to see it. So right now I have a link, I have an email that gives me a link to that particular bed, and I can be on my cell phone and click that link, and it will take me to the bed. So that's what that link is. Here are the alarms and alerts that we have. When something does trigger, here's where it comes in. We start looking at how many minutes it's been since the trigger's gone off. Um, this looks like 7:35 a.m., 3/6. So obviously there was a trigger. What I'm going to do is go back over, and here you go. This is the alarm that was triggered. And if I go, this is the alarm around the ulcers, and you're seeing the indication. I can click this, and this is what will come up for me to be able to cancel the alarm. I'm going to go ahead and put the numbers in. So basically, the number of sensors that needed to change didn't change. So they are pretty much still on certain spots in this bed. And I can also put in my username so that they are able to see that it was me that canceled it. And I'll show you that here in a second. And I'm going to cancel this. And what you will get is that it will bounce out. I can close this out. The alarm will disappear from here, the icon, and then I can go back to the alarm logs. All right. When I'm at the alarm logs, basically, it's showing me the date and time that it triggered, and then the date and time that it was canceled. Total after that is 3 minutes. And the reason we capture the minutes is to ensure that we understand that when it triggered, it was 7:35. When it was silenced, it was 7:37. Now, if this was over an hour, over 2 hours, it could be bad, mainly because no one is responding to these alarms, and that could show you a problem with your staff addressing issues and so on and so forth. Over here is patient ID. the bed, the body map of what it looked like when it triggered, right? And then what it looks like when it after it triggered. Now, the reason they look the same, of course, is because we gave it a minute. And if this was um, a real life situation, I would actually go over there and turn that body onto the side where you'd see a different view on the body map, and then you'd cancel the alarm. This is so that we validate that our staff is doing what they have to do. Of course, who it is that canceled it, the system trigger, so on and so forth. Now, every time you get a trigger and a message is triggered, um, there is a email that is sent to you. And then every time there is a cancellation, they will also receive an email to do with what they got to do. Uh, um, the the the